Hi, and welcome to Module 1 of this $100,000 Sales Funnel Blueprint. In this module, we're going to be talking about your audience and your offer. So it's a great sort of starting point. So in this module, we're going to be looking at what your audience should look like. Who in your audience are the hungry buyers, the ones that are really going to be highly motivated to take action to buy your product. We're going to look at what and explore what your offer actually is, why your audience would want it, and some common mistakes and how to avoid them. And also, what are my audience characteristics and what's my offer? So, really starting from the point of view of more the strategic level of it in terms of thinking about your audience and your offer, but then also sharing with you exactly what my audience and offer are, so you can see how we go from the strategic side to actually a product. And hopefully that's something that allow you then to look at what it is you're doing and saying, okay, does it tick all the boxes? Am I structuring it and positioning it right? And then at the end, there's three actions or takeaways for you, so you can actually literally start to focus on what it is you're doing with your audience and offer. So this is very much the starting point for you. So really, what should your audience look like? And obviously, I don't know what niche you're looking at, but there are certain characteristics which will really help you in terms of making sure that you're building your funnel on the right sort of foundations. I say, so it's got the capacity for growth and for scaling up. So yes, I've got this down to three sort of characteristics about your audience. And firstly is your audience needs to be large in number. So what I mean by that, obviously, is that whatever markets you're looking at, whatever countries, you make sure that there's enough of your target audience out there. And there's a real reason for that. Obviously, in terms of if you're targeting an audience that's very small, it doesn't mean your funnel can't be very effective, but obviously it potentially means that you might effectively burn that audience out, as in run out of new people to target. So I found it's very good to make sure that you're targeting an audience who are big enough. The second thing is to make sure that they are easily identifiable as a group of people. So obviously with my audience, they're guitarists, and which means that when it comes to putting content out on social media or trying to address that audience by talking to them, I've only got to mention the word guitarists and people know that I'm talking to them, obviously, if they play guitar. So it's important that you can effectively call out to your audience, so they've got a collective name. It just makes life a lot easier. And the third thing, and probably the most important thing, is that they already know they have a real pain or frustration or a problem, and they really want to find a solution. It's a lot harder if you're trying to convince somebody that they've got a pain that they don't actually feel right there and then. But your job is to understand, let's target the people who they already know that they've got a situation that they need to address in some way. So you need looking to find people who are actively out there looking for a solution because they know they've got a problem that needs solving. So have a think about your audience and how you're sort of niching that audience down. And really think about it, from their perspective, what does things look like?
Get access to the same 5-star rated all-in-one marketing platform that Jonathan uses to make 6 figures each year. It has all the tools you need to market, sell, and deliver your offers. You can easily create high-converting funnels, websites, blogs, courses, memberships, communities, webinars, plus email marketing and incredible automation tools. You can even build e-commerce stores and manage affiliates all in one place. For a limited time, you can get up to 40% off right now and over $6,000 in free bonuses when you sign up today. These start at an insanely low $16 per month. Go to systembonus.com now or click link 2 in the description before this offer ends.
So my audience, large in number, I would say, I target an older audience. So it's predominantly men over 50, as I say, in different English-speaking markets, who are looking to learn to play guitar. And I can use Facebook stats, and I know there's at least 5 million, probably plus, within my audience to target. So there's plenty of people to go at. The second point I made was easily identifiable on social media. Well, as I said, we've only got to put things out that says guitarists, and anybody learning to play guitar is actually instantly attracted to that, and have a real need and desire. And particularly with this audience is to learn quickly and easily. As we look at the next step of this, I've niched down from really just anybody playing guitar, particularly to an older demographic, and to men, and we'll see why this is relevant later on. But broadly speaking, yeah, large in number, easily identifiable, and a real need and desire. So that gets to the broadest shape of audience. But really, we want to zero in on that more, because we're looking for what we're calling the hungry buyers. Those are the buyers that are far more motivated to take action, and really have a real sort of need. So there's a certain urgency that around a certain a niche, and that's what you want to really think about in terms of your audience. Who are the ones that really have a more urgent pain, problem, or frustration that they need to address? So they're in a situation or a circumstance where they're not just casually looking for a solution. They really feel that actually they need to find a solution. So the more you can have a think about your audience in terms of those are the ones who are highly motivated. Those are the ones that you want to start to reach out and connect with. So when I think about my hungry buyers, as I said, they're men sort of 50 plus, playing guitar. And so, in terms of me thinking a bit more about them, they're probably people who've maybe they picked up the guitar for the first time. Now they've got a bit more time as they're older. Or maybe they played guitar a little bit when they were younger, but never really sort of mastered it, but always still hold on to that dream of actually being able to play, which is where I am. I've got a couple of guitars knocking around, and I don't think my guitar skills have developed much in the last 30 odd years. But I still hold on to that idea of being able to play, and I still do enjoy it, but I come in and out of it. And you probably find with yourself in terms of building your funnel is that you've built a funnel, an audience based on someone like yourself, so you can have a clearer idea and understanding of what some of those pains and challenges and frustrations that people have. A lot of people end up, say, building products, building funnels, where they themselves are their target market. And it certainly does obviously help you understand and dig deeper into that audience. So, as I say, it's men 50 still holding on to that dream of playing, but, as they get older, they've got stiffening fingers. Learning is not quite so easy as it was when you were younger. It's getting a bit harder. Maybe they're feeling a little bit old, am I going to sort of run out of time? Do I find it a challenge forgetting stuff? I'll learn it one day and a couple of days later, I feel like I've forgotten it, I have to start again. Sort of people who, again, like myself, who occasionally dabble with stuff on YouTube, but either find, the teacher is not right, or they're going too fast, or I just can't find the video again once I've found it. And this audience really need a quick win to boost their confidence and their motivation to get them back into playing. So, as I see, I really tried to describe and understand the audience in terms of that hungry buyers. What is really motivating them? What is really sort of driving their need? And for my audience, it really comes down to that sense of actually they genuinely feel they're running out of time. That dream is still out there, but as they're getting older, there's more and more challenges in the way. But actually, they still want that dream. So their time is being compressed. So there's a greater sense of urgency about doing something and finding a solution, finding a quick win, getting them back into making progress towards their dream. So have a think about that in terms of your audience, in terms of initially, the bigger group of people, but then really who within that group, what sort of characterizes the ones that are really your hungry buyers, the ones that really do have that urgency about it, on what that's about. So the more you can get into some of those emotional drivers, the better and easier it is when it comes to not only, well, all aspects, from your product through to your funnel, through to your marketing. Everything is geared around helping people overcome that hunger, overcome that urgency, and providing a solution for them. So this ties not only into the audience, how you're talking about them, but also how you're thinking about your product and what it's doing. So in terms of the offer itself, thinking about some of those emotional drivers, I say, how does your product remove your audience's pain, problem, or frustration? I think for many people, and I've done the same thing in the past, you end up building a product first and then figuring out how you're going to sell it and who you're going to sell it to. Whereas actually, before you go into the details of building elaborate products, and thinking, so that solution, as I said at the beginning, doing the product is great, but that's only when the work starts. It's really once you've got the product. Now you've got to get into the marketing. But by starting to think of your audience first and who you want to target, and then really drill into who are those hungry buyers, will really help shape what your product needs to be. Because once you understand their emotional drivers, their sense of urgency, the challenges and pains that they're looking to overcome, you can then start to shape your product and shape how you talk about your product, in a more compelling way. So the second thing is understanding really what is the journey or transformation your audience will experience. So once they buy your product, your offer, what is that journey they're going to go on? So we've started to explore where they are right now in terms of, that pain, that hunger, that drive, that sense of running out of time, that need for motivation to get them going. And what will be their state of mind and emotional response once they've used their product? Understand what that journey is, because that's what your product is delivering. It's delivering a transformation for your audience. And that's how you want to be talking to your audience about that, is on one side, understanding where they are now, but also being able to create a picture as to where they're going to go to, what your product's going to do. By buying into your product or your offer, they're going to experience a transformation. This is all about, the emotional drivers of things. So have a think about that. And be clear as well about why people will buy your product and how they're going to feel afterwards. The whole thing is, if people are going to, excuse me, buy into your product, how they're going to feel afterwards. Because if they get that sense of, actually, this first product has really transform them, really move them closer towards their goal, then they're going to be far more excited about buying your next product, buying whatever else you've got. Because if you've helped them experience some sort of transformation, help them go on that journey towards that dream outcome or that goal that they're looking for, then they're going to be hungry for your next product and your offer. So understanding that and understanding what people are going to feel like afterwards helps you sort of see what maybe your next product might be, or just to make sure that your product is doing what it says it's going to do, making sure it's going to deliver for your audience. Okay, so there's a lot to actually think about, and this does take time, and actually this is the hardest part in a way, because once you've really drilled into your audience and really got that emotional sort of connection with where they are, what drives the urgency for them to overcome their pains and frustrations, you really have got a lot of the information you need to not only shape your product, but shape your offer, shape how you're going to present it to them. So I can't stress that enough. It's the bit that we all tend to gloss over, but actually it's the bit probably you spend the most time on, because you're going to use it again and again and again. Whether it's writing your copy, finding your images, your ads, your landing page, your offer, everything is going to be driven from this real understanding of that hungry buyer and the transformation and the journey they're going to go on. So in common mistakes, with regards to the audience, people often go too broad. If I tried to target all guitarists of all ages, means that I can't get into that level of engagement, because I can't really talk to my hungry buyers, because the hungry buyers have got a very specific set of characteristics, which means that if I go too broad, it means my messages are too woolly because I'm trying to talk to everybody, and means that I'll get very weak engagement, which again, won't drive traffic, won't drive conversions. The second thing is not, as I said, don't invest the time exploring your pain points. And without being able to, dig in and relate to and communicate those pains, that sense of urgency, understanding that motivation and drive, means that actually your messages are not going to compel people to take action, because people can't then see why your product or offer is directly addressing their particular problem. And the third thing I see from clients and from others is spending huge amounts of time on the product and that funnel design and all the bits of tech around it before getting into understanding this audience, this hungry buyer, this messaging. And obviously tend to get then lost in a bit of overwhelm with all the different, tech components of it, without really getting to the fundamentals of the messaging. And that often leaves people with a sense of overwhelm and not sure where to start, and it all gets a bit confusing. But really that starting point is that audience, those emotional drivers. Once you've got that, everything else flows out from that. So, as I say, when it comes to your offer, my focus is always start at the very top of your funnel, start at the very basic side of it. I know it's useful strategically to understand, where's your top of funnel, your entry level product, what might be your mid-level products, and what's going to be your big offer. It's good to have those things worked out in mind, but it's not worth building all your middle funnel products or your bottom funnel products if actually you haven't got at the very top end something that converts, something that really engages, resonates, delivers value to your audience. They're not going to progress through your funnel. So my advice is always focus on top of funnel, and that's what I still do now. In fact, my upsell page, which is my $67 product, I know it's not the best converting page, but it converts because of what comes before it, because that top of funnel bit is so much more engaging from an audience, a compelling offer, offers fantastic value, and they're then in the right mindset when I present them with the upsell, which again is fantastic value. I get very good conversion rates on it. So start simple, start at the top, start with those really compelling messages with that real hungry buyer in mind. So this is my top of funnel product, my $9.97 product. It's actually a series of learn to play classic guitar riffs, like the intros to some classic sort of songs. So it's a very low cost product. It's high in value. There's like 42 guitar riffs in here, and each riff, there's 3 separate videos for it. So there's a lot of videos, about 120 something videos in there. So it is an amazing offer. So it's all about getting a higher conversion rate. So think characteristics about this offer and where it ties into the audience. So what I've got here is a unique muscle memory system. So what makes this different from people just going to YouTube and trying to learn a guitar riff is the fact that we've got a very specific method, and it's our method and our approach to teaching these guitar riffs. So it means that we can own that sort of sense. So, we know people can go to YouTube and learn this stuff, but they can't learn it the way we teach it. And we teach it in a very simple, structured, easy to follow way that helps people develop muscle memory. So it's specifically targeted towards that older guitarist. So I say we know that older musician that we're talking to, some of the challenges they face. So what we want to do is to try and make it, as I said here, the secret to effortless playing. So we're playing on a lot of the words that come from that understanding of the audience. This is specifically for older guitarists. So we mentioned that in the copy. So people know that we actually understand them, understand some of their challenges, understand their urgency. These are short, detailed lessons. Again, make them easy to use, easy to consume, get people getting a sense of reward from it. That's the whole thing. It delivers results fast for people, helps them sound great, gives them a sense of satisfaction sort of straight away, helps them feel successful in terms of what they're doing. So they're motivated to learn more. So really, have a think about maybe some of your product, your offer up front, and look at it in terms of your audience and those hungry buyers, understanding their emotional drivers. Does your product or offer tick the boxes in actually delivering what they really need? So hopefully you can see that relationship now between spending the time really digging into those emotional drivers and then having a product that actually really connects through them, helps them make a transformation. So it goes from them being, a bit overwhelmed and a bit demotivated and stuff that's too complicated. We've made it really simple, quick results, and given that sense of satisfaction and motivation. So it gets them moving so they can see a transformation, which means it sets the audience up for them for not only do we get fantastic reviews about the product, but also people look forward to other things that we are going to be bringing out and also offer at the moment. So take that from that. So common mistakes, as people have said, is going too broad with their audience, not investing enough time in exploring customer mindset, and focusing on the products rather than the pains. And I think that's the thing, as I said before, is often people will develop a product first and then figure out who they're going to sell it to and how they're going to sell it, rather than thinking about the audience first. Who are the hungry buyers in there? What is their mindset? And what is the transformation they're looking to achieve? What it is they need that's going to help solve those pains. So go back, make sure you think about your audience from those perspectives. So to wrap up on this module, 3 things is have a check as whether your audience is big enough, you feel, that's going to give you the longevity. Because as I say, I've been running my funnel here for over a year now, and I'm not going to run out of audience, which is really useful because you're constantly going to need to, say, split test, refine it, get your funnel better over time to increase your profitability. So you want to make sure your audience is big enough that you're going to be able to continue to have enough audience to keep testing different things within your funnel. So understanding who are your hungry buyers and why are they motivated, and really does your offer address their pains? So you can have a brief think about those things right now, but as I say, we may want to move on through the modules and then come back and work your way more slowly through these, addressing each of the 3 takeaways from each of the modules as we go. Because on the next module, we're going to be talking about building that first funnel and building it fast. All right, I'll look forward to seeing you there.